75 players have made it to the very last stop on the road to French Lick. Hello, welcome once again to the Road to French Lick, a show chronicling the 2024 Korn Ferry Tour season. I'm Ryan Ballantyne. It's great to have you with us. We are through 3 events of the 4-event series known as the Korn Ferry Tour Finals, and the latest event, the penultimate event in the series, the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship, determined a lot for the remaining event of the season. We'll talk about that tournament. We'll talk about the players who qualified for the season-ending Korn Ferry Tour Championship presented by United Leasing and Finance, which will be held for the next 5 years on the Pete Dye course at French Lick Resort in French Lick, Indiana. We'll hear from our winner in Columbus, Ohio. We'll hear from several players who made the cut into the season-ending tournament. And then we'll talk about setting the stage for the players who have already qualified for PGA Tour cards for next year, what they're playing for next week, and also for players who have gotten their way into the field and what they have earned for next season. Let's start by taking a look back at the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship played on the Scarlet course at the Ohio State University Golf Club in Columbus, Ohio. It's one of the toughest courses on the Korn Ferry Tour schedule, and the winner of that event is one of the players who went lowest on the Korn Ferry Tour this year. Frankie Capan III shot 58 at Texas Rangers Golf Club earlier in the year, but he had yet to raise a trophy on the schedule this season. He finally gets it done in the penultimate event of the year. He wins by 2 shots on 13 under, 271, shooting a final round 70 to secure the win over Carter Jenkins and William Mao, both who finished in second place. Mao winds up with a PGA Tour card after all, but for Carter Jenkins, it's a great week as he moved from 59th in the standings to 37th place in the standings, giving him a decent chance at earning a PGA Tour card through the season-ending Korn Ferry Tour Championship. Thomas Rosenmuller, who's already a winner this year, is also one of the co-runners-up. He moved up into 10th position, improving his standing while giving himself a chance to potentially move up in the final event of the year on the leaderboard. Matt McCarty also had himself a great week. He finished as part of a group tied for 5th place, extending his lead as the season-long points race leader, securing his spot at number 1 in the points list at the end of the calendar year. Let's hear now, though, from our winner in Columbus, Frankie Capan III.
It feels fantastic. It's been a lot of hard work. You guys have known I've come close a few times. Had several top 5s this year. So it really feels nice just to kind of get the monkey off my back, if you so say. But, it was great. I mean, I'm just really happy and blessed to be standing with you here today, and just really excited with how my game has progressed, from last year to this year, and, just kind of continuing as this year has gone on. I've seen a lot more consistency and, seen myself up in the mix a lot more, so it's been a lot of fun. It's kind of funny because I feel like, everything was on at a certain point this week. I felt like I didn't hit my driver fantastic today, but I hit it really pretty well for most of the day. On the back 9, I think I'd have to look, but I hit the fairway on 10, hit it on 11, just missed on 12, but it was a good spot. Hit it on 14, and some of those aren't really all that easy tee shots, and the wind got really swirling there towards the end. Today it was nice. My short game was pretty dialed in to close the last 6-7 holes, so that was really nice, and you just have to be so precise out here on this course. That putt on 17 was one where once I made that, I didn't look at the scores really at all. I had a number that I wanted to get to in my head, and unfortunately wasn't able to get there. Thankfully it was still enough, but I kind of had a feeling walking up after hitting my tee shot on 18 that no one got to 12. So just based off my caddy, based off Greeny's body language, I could kind of tell that was a really big putt on 17, and I knew it at the time, so it was pretty cool to make one like that. I haven't had many putts that were as important as that. So just knowing I can make a putt like that downhill, sliding right to left under a lot of pressure is fun.
With his win at the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship, Frankie Capan III moved to 5th position in the season-long points race and he has a guaranteed spot on the PGA Tour next year. He can move up as high as second in the final standings after the Korn Ferry Tour Championship presented by United Leasing and Finance. But we now look at the top 5 in the standings, including Frankie Capan III. We start with our number 1, who has clinched the number 1 spot, and that is Matt McCarty. He has a 3-win promotion to the PGA Tour. And more importantly, after the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship, he now has a lead of greater than 600 points over Max McGreevy. He stands at 2,703 points compared to Max McGreevy's 2,052 points. So that gives him more than enough of an edge to guarantee him the number 1 position in the final standings. And he gets a spot in the U.S. Open and the Players' Championship in 2025 as a boot, in addition to fully exempt status on the PGA Tour in 2025. He also has the right to not play in the Korn Ferry Tour Championship if he so chooses. He can instead play in the PGA Tour Sanderson Farms Championship, held the same week as the Korn Ferry Tour Championship, because he now is a member of the PGA Tour as a result of his 3-win promotion. The remaining top 5 in our standings is unchanged from last week. Tim Vieding remains in 3rd at 1,686 points. Stephen Fisk is 4th at 1,684 points. And Frankie Capan III is in 5th position at 1,677 points. We also determine the top 75 players in the rankings, and those top 75 players qualify for the Korn Ferry Tour Championship presented by United Leasing and Finance. It gives them a chance at qualifying for a PGA Tour card, depending on the result in French Lick, but most importantly, at least as it relates to next year, it gives them a guaranteed place to play. They have full status on the Korn Ferry Tour in 2025, regardless of what happens in their final positioning in the standings, whether they're in the top 30 or the top 75. They've got a guaranteed place to play next year. Now let's hear from several players who are on the fortunate side of being in the top 75 in the ranking at the end of the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship. First, let's hear from Cole Hammer, who improved from 79th position to 66th position at the end of the Columbus tournament, and he'll find himself with full status next year on the Korn Ferry Tour and playing next week with a possibility of having a PGA Tour card in hand for 2025.
Oh. Alrighty. How does it feel right now?
Elation. This is pure elation. I worked so hard this year, and especially this week. I really put my nose to the grindstone, and y'all asked me earlier on in the week if what it compared to, and I gave you some high pressure situations, and then you asked if I would feel the same nerves today that I did on Friday, and the answer was yes. I didn't know at the time, but I had a nice breakfast this morning and then couldn't eat anything the rest of the day. But I had control of the golf ball, and man, to make a putt like that on 18 really means a lot and proves a lot to myself. I didn't look at leaderboards all day just because I wanted to stay in my own bubble, but I had a feeling that putt was going to be a big one, and I don't know where I stand right now, but I'm just really, really proud of the way I fought today.
Dan McCarthy and Jared Solomon were the other 2 players to move inside the top 75 from outside from last week's field of 120 players. Hank Lebioda, though, is one of the most fortunate men in the 75-player field for the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. He is the bubble boy, number 75 on the number, finding his way into the season-ending event after a tumultuous year and some doubt as to whether or not he would make the final tournament at French Lick. Let's hear from Hank Lebioda.
Stakes of the day, was the bubble and the numbers on your mind at all kind of last night?
Yes.
And were you out there like on the last hole, are you thinking any putt like could be the difference? Or
Yes.
And
yeah, I mean it is what it is, and I did my best not to look at scoreboards all day, so I don't know where I was out there. I knew what I had an idea in my head what I wanted to shoot. Wasn't able to shoot that. So now it's just waiting game.
Were you aware of like you, Cooper, and Jack were all separated
Yes.
by like a point? Yeah. And did like when you finish, are you like the rest of the day? Like what's your plan? Are you going to follow it? Or are you going to turn?
I have no idea. I'll follow it. I have no self-control. I'll have to look at it. Probably age about 15 years looking at it. But honestly, nothing you could do now. I left it out there on the course. Not my best, but is what it is. Posted a number, and hopefully I'll be enough to withstand, get me onto Indiana.
Are there any experiences this compares to kind of in golf or life?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going the other way. I finished 25th on the points list or money list in, was it 2018? And I didn't have nearly as long of a wait. And I think the stakes were probably a little bit higher moving up to the PGA Tour, me versus Kevin Doherty. Yeah, I had my family there. I was 23 years old. I was young. I didn't know any better. So this knowing what's at stake and knowing kind of how the day could shake out, or who knows what it could be, and it's probably going to be a little bit harder, a little bit longer than last time.
Leslie, and what does it mean to you, just this journey playing professional golf and just being kind of in this world?
To some degree, it's what we do it for. Being able to compete and to show what we're made of, step up and hit shots and perform under pressure. When it, in your mind or in your opinion, it means the most. Not many careers that you can do that, where it is on you to perform, to you to come through in order for your success. So it's great, but this is the backside of it. Is if you don't quite perform to how you'd like to, then there are consequences.
Brendan Sweeney joins me once again, and now we've got a top 75 list of players. We've got a field list, at least of qualifiers for the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. I want to start with the guys who played their way in to that top 75. There were three guys: Cole Hammer and Jared Solomon and Dan McCarthy. Some guys have had somewhat consistent years. A couple guys have had just great ends to the year. Some guys just kind of hanging on in a lot of cases. But I wanted to talk about those three guys, and then the heartbreak for three guys who have been kicked out of that top 75 and now are on the outside looking in without guaranteed status for next year.
Right. I tell you what Columbus, I was up in Columbus, Ohio last week, and the Scarlet Course is just amazing. The Ohio State Buckeyes have played there forever. So it's almost like a shrine to Jack Nicklaus and Joey Sinclair, John Cook, just to rattle off a couple of Buckeyes. Great tournament directors. But Cole Hammer came in, went from 79th to 66th, tied for 13th, 2 under 69, banged an 11-footer to bring it home.
Yeah.
As doing it in style. Same with McCarthy. Top 7, he moved up 21 spots. And that's what's so cool about this whole moving up, just to get to the top 75, to have a chance to get to the top 30, because with 600 points available, right, it moves straight up. So, yeah, Jacob Solomon, Auburn guy, he's doing well, and he crushed it up there too. But where there's good, there's bad, and there's ugly. And I guess we'll talk to that in a little bit. But what do you think about the top 3 moving up?
I think it's
75. Yeah.
I mean, that's the point of this whole final series, is that you can have a not so spectacular year and you can come alive in this part of the year and at least get yourself full status for next year. We know a lot of the cards are claimed out of that top 30 from the points so far, so they're not necessarily all playing for 30 wide spots at French Lick. You're playing for a handful of spots, but you still have that chance. If you still have a special week, if you still do something great, second or first place, depending on where you are below that top 30, you probably got a decent chance of getting a card, and that's what's going to be really special in French Lick.
Yeah, and just the top 75 in points get full status of the Korn Ferry Tour next year.
It's huge.
76 to 100 is conditional. And then after that, you're going to Q school. So even if you're in the top 75, you still have to fight your way up to get a higher pecking point for next year and everything. So, yeah, we're getting excited about it. But, if you look at the guys that moved up, you have to look at some of the stories that have moved down. The one that jumps out at me last year, and it's really almost heartbreaking how it happened, with Shan Tootin. He was on his 16th hole last year, 15th or 16th at Victoria National, puts his club down, ball rotates backward. He hits his ball and obviously didn't notice that, but it knocked him out of the top 30 last year. And now he fell from 73rd to 78th and didn't make it to French Lick. So our heart goes out to him, but that's the way it is. That's golf. And it's almost heartbreaking. But next year he's got a medical exemption on Korn Ferry, so not saying if you're hurt it's good, but it's a chance for him to get in a couple more tournaments.
Yeah, it's a tough road. I mean, there's so many examples over the years of players who are one shot here, one shot there. The difference between getting in an event, not getting an event, and they win, or they do something great in the next one, and that saves their career, gets them a win, gets them to the PGA Tour, keeps them on the Korn Ferry Tour. Max Homa is a great example of that, couple times over. And unfortunately, there are examples going the wrong way too. And hopefully for Shad, 2025 is a year where he can come back and kind of feel that heartbreak and turn into something positive and hopefully get in that top 30.
Yeah, well, you look at Cooper Dorsey as well. He had a rough final round. Yeah, 6 bogeys, went from 71st on the list to 76th. So he just missed it by one. It's going to be interesting. We're excited about the tournament coming so far, the French Lick. I mean, the pieces are coming together. Players are starting to show up. Players are starting to putt around a little bit. The excitement in the air of French Lick is growing. Our team's getting a little nervous, a little bit, not nervous, but exciting. And the kids are, the golf give backs, which is our charity for the event, is pumping up pretty good. And for those of you who want to participate in some of the activities at French, like I know I'm going off course a little bit, but we're having a huge auction going up for Golf Gives Back. And the auction gates are open. So if you go to FrenchLick.com, you can see the Korn Ferry site on that. And a couple really cool our A-list prizes that we're giving away are up for auction. We have a week-long, Monday through Sunday, 2 tickets to the Masters. Obviously housing's not included, but you got to get your way down there. But those could be pretty good. And then we also have 2 tickets for the Taylor Swift concert in Indianapolis in the Lucas Arena Skybox.
Yep.
And those are going in the heavy 4,000s right now. So we're looking forward to it, my man. Everything is clipping along, and you're going to be out there. We're going to wrap up the series. We think we have 2 more shows after this one. We'll do a recap at French Lick, and then we'll do a season recap. Yep. And we'll take it from there. But it's been a blast so far. Met a heck of a lot of people, put a lot of miles on. I'm like 1 day away from getting Platinum Elite status at Marriott, and hopefully we can nail that this next couple of weeks here. But yeah, it's fun. We're having a blast. I hope you guys out there in the cyber world are enjoying it. I hope you have a chance to come out to French Lick one day and appreciate everything that we've done. And congratulations, Ryan, on your launch of Golf Newsnet TV, which will be on right now. That was huge for you, my brother. Saw it from the beginning.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone who's watched this show over the course of the season, who's come on this journey with us, who probably heard us talk about the Korn Ferry Tour, and whether you were a fan before, you're a fan after. We hope you'll stay a fan and join us on this journey, not only for the remainder of this season through the Korn Ferry Tour Championship, but as we do this again in 2025, because we'll start all over again and go down another exciting road with another crop of players and culminate in another 30 guys making their way to the PGA Tour, or in some cases back to the PGA Tour. But still got 1 big event left in French Lick. We'll be there on Monday evening. Start doing live shows on GNN TV from tournament site. We're very excited about that, and just can't wait to get out there. And thank you for everything that you've done, Brendan, and everyone at the French Lick Resort for promoting this tournament, for making this show possible. It's been super fun to do, and let's make the last one and the one after that a great one.
You got it, my brother. Congratulations, and we look forward to a wonderful championship week. The Korn Ferry Championships presented by United Financing and Leasing is going to be a tremendous success. The inaugural event here that we've had at French Lick. It's been so long in the foundation of Southern Indiana with a 12-year run down in Evansville, and now that we're up here, it's going to be a blast. And we're going to show French Lick off. We built this golf course in 2009 to host the host championships, and now we have the eyes of the world upon us. So tune into the Golf Channel 4 to 6, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with the card ceremony happening right at 6 o'clock. So hopefully there's not a killer football game going on that you're going to miss that you can probably away from, but it should be pretty cool. The team at the PGA Tour has been fabulous. I got the opportunity 15 years ago to introduce my niece, Sam, the folks at Golf Channel, and now she's back to French Lick. Sam Murphy, and on the broadcast side, we're going to have a blast with her. It's amazing to see how people grow up and grow old in this business, and I'm seeing them both. I'm part of it. So, right on, my
two
brother.
of those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good, Ryan. Love you, man. This is a blast. And if you guys need anything, just let us know.
All right, man. We'll see you next week in French Lick. Thanks, Bright. Well, that's going to do it for us here on the road to French Lick. We are nearly at the end of our season. We'll be live on GNN TV next week from the Korn Ferry Tour Championship at French Lick Resort in French Lick, Indiana. We look forward to seeing you then, where we culminate the end of the season with 30 PGA Tour cards and celebrating a great journey along the way. For everyone at the French Lick Resort, for everyone at Golf News Net, I'm Ryan Ballingy. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week in French Lick.